Good evening. This is Cece Schatz, and I am the doyen of relationships, and you are listening to the Boy and Girl Show. We have a wonderful guest with us tonight, Arnie Fonseca, and he is a relationship expert. And so we're going to talk about relationships now. And you know how we are on the boy and girl thing. It's really about the differences between men and women, how we kind of think about things maybe a little bit differently, but we also try to come together in the end. So that's what it's all about. So let's have some fun tonight. Let's talk about relationships. Now, Arnie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cece, and I super appreciate you trusting me enough to bring me on your show. I hope to add some great value to you and your audience.
Well, thank you so much. Now, you're in Phoenix, Arizona, right?
Phoenix, Arizona, and forgive me, I'm waiting for the lights to come on where I'm at, but I'll move if I have to. I'm outside of a hospital, but we won't get into that. But I am here, and yeah, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's a beautiful time of year here.
Oh, it's great having you here. I'm going to put up real quick, if anybody wants to give us a call, you can call us live right here on the number on the screen. It's 727-238-8970. So if you want to give us a call, that's WGSN-DB Going Solo Network's phone number. And you can call us live right there at 727-238-8970. And so that's right up on the screen for you. So let's get on to our topic. Now, I had noticed that the gentleman, the very one that owns Amazon, is now going through a divorce. And so I was just wondering, what is your take on that?
I was just talking about it yesterday. You know, here's what's interesting about it, especially with all the Me Too stuff going on, and the fact here's what's interesting about it, because my whole philosophy in life, especially at my age, CC, is to quit judging people, and this has been going on for a number of years with the Bezos, and he's had a mistress. It's out there in the news. And that's why I'm such a big fan of the media, because the media is not beating him up, and that's fine. I don't think they should beat anybody up unless there's some type of major crime going on here. And but she seems fine with it. Possibly she's fine with it because, from what I understand, she's going to be the richest lady in the world when she's done with it. That could be it. But at the same time, I would be curious if she was married to him when he was packing books in his garage and making barely able to pay the bills. If he came to her and said, "Hey, I've had a mistress for the last couple of years. I hope you're okay if we have a divorce." I don't know. I mean, so we have to kind of look at things in context with it. They can do whatever they want. The problem that I run into, CC, when I coach people that are in politics or have a lot of money, this is just my own evidence, is for the vast majority of them, it's a contraction. It's a contraction. They're looking at it. It's a business contraction. Okay, and it's not what I love to teach my clients. It's not about finding that unconditional love. It's very much conditional. It's very much conditional.
So you're saying people such as, this gentleman here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is a conditional. Let's I'd like to open it up a little bit to the audience to let them know a little bit more about you, because I don't think I did you justice on announcing you into the show. But you are a man's life strategist, and you basically help men find their true identity as they unpack the past and create amazing rest of their lives. And so,
absolutely,
your focus is really on helping men. So, in your first remarks out of the box is, that about the idea of a business relationship being, in a marriage. And so I like what I like so much about you, Arnie, is that you're just straight up about that. And it's so important, because I think that when we're stepping forward into a relationship, we need to know about that. And so often I say to individuals, well, what kind of relationship are you really looking for? Companionship or whatever,
Well, I tell you what people are looking for, and there's a great book by John Eldridge, and there's another by his wife Stacy Eldridge. Her book was called Captivating. His is called Wild at Heart, and he's written other books as well. But listen, it's interesting that you say I'm a men's life strategist, because I am, but because of that, a lot of women contact me because they want to learn what's going on inside of men's heads.
Absolutely.
And the thing about that I teach them and I tell them, especially when I'm coaching women, I'll say, listen, don't settle, because I know deep in your heart you're looking for that knight in shining armor to ride up on a white horse and take you off on a great adventure somewhere. And so, and I tell guys that I go, a lot of these ladies have built themselves, almost imprisoned themselves in a castle because of stuff in their lives and things they've gone through in other relationships, and maybe not having the best self-esteem. And so here they are waiting for somebody like you that'll come up to them unconditionally, CC.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to create passion in a relationship is unconditional love. It's the
Yeah.
only way.
Yeah.
Only way. And what
No,
I'm doing, I'm holding my hand in front of me with my heart. Got it?
yeah.
Who's willing to do that today, Cece? Hold
Mm-hmm.
their heart in front of themselves, because you know what? Two things are going to happen. They're either going to embrace it, or somebody's going to kick it out of their hand. And
Yeah.
that's the risk that we have to take to create passion. That passion that all of us want in a relationship. Mad, crazy love that you see in the movies that we all want.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. So let me ask you something, to be straight up. I've had a couple past relationships, and what they say to me is they want what they're looking for, and I'm looking for love. I'm looking for that passionate love in a
Sure.
relationship, just as you
Absolutely.
stated. But what they say to me is they want companionship. So I say, get a dog. That's,
No, you're exactly right about that. And, and
yeah.
and and they need, but see, that's why I'm a huge fan of dating. Guys, listen, I have my clients do what I call my 4 pillars. And I have them make lists of things that they truly want in their life. And because you got to know what you want. And so it's crazy how we seem to know what kind of car we want, or shoes, or whatever you're looking for in your life. But it's amazing when it comes to one of the most, if not the most important decisions you're going to make in your life, is like who you're going to spend the rest of your life with, that we're just so haphazard about it, and we think it's just going to just fall in our lap. Okay. But so the dating process, CC, is all about asking those kind of questions. It's all about those kind of. What do you want? What do you want? What are you looking? If I talk to somebody and they want that, I have them write down what they envision their perfect marriage to be. Write it down. They want mad. They want somebody that they're just head over heels in love with. That they can't wait to see. That, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what they want. Now, if they don't want that, I'm going. So why are you going through this? Because you know what that feels like, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that kind of love, when it ends, it hurts. It hurts. Because relationships I would say 90+% of relationships that end hurt bad.
Yeah.
Bad. And so why would you do that if you can just take care of it with a dog? Right?
Well, that's what I
Are
said.
you,
I mean, well, the
yeah,
one
I mean, you're
I
right.
did, he did
Because
have a
you're
dog.
right.
So he's moved on to his dog again. But but the other one, I think maybe he got a dog, but I don't know. But not that I don't want companionship, because I do. But companionship is not top on my list, because I'm okay by myself. I'm okay with who I am, and I'm
Right.
by myself. So I think if I'm building a relationship with someone, there has to be other elements in there. But that's me. Maybe
No, 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 no. I love the way you just said that, Cece, the way you said that, because you have to be comfortable with yourself first. You
mhm.
are not going to attract someone special in your life if you are hurting, if you are not madly in love with yourself. And that's hard. To be madly in love with yourself will attract amazing people, because I went to a conference one time, and the main speaker came up to me. We were in a group. He looked in my eyes. He goes, "Man, whatever's going on in those, don't ever lose that fire in your eyes." Because see, what happens is When there's fire in somebody, in their soul, it's going to do two things, Cece. It's going to attract people, because just in life, if you ever see a fire out in your community, people either run to it or run away from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going to happen in relationships. When you're on fire about life and about yourself, and someone's going to want to know, man, what's with you? I want to be part of that. Or they're going to think you're a freak and they're going to run away from it.
Well, here's the thing. What about change? Because so often what happens is people come into your life and they love all that you have, all that you're about, but then they want to change you. So it's like, well, wait a minute. If you love me like the way I am, and you like the fire, you like all that stuff, then why you want to change me? What's up with that?
Well, and that's the worst. That's the worst part of relationships, because that's kind of old school, and guys are very guilty of this when they'll say, "Well, I'm going to marry somebody who's going to change me and control me and slow me down." That doesn't work. What doesn't work at all, um, because first of all, when you meet somebody special, that unconditional love is who you are. It's not who they can make you into, because you're going to resist that as a guy or a lady. You're going to resist it first, Cece. Then you're going to resent it. Then you're going to reject the person because of it. Okay. And then you're going to just go into what we were talking about earlier, into what I call repression. You're just going to wander around there just trying to figure out how you're going to get out of this deal, because you can't change anybody. You can't change anybody. One of the things that I do with my 4 pillars is the first pillar is what you want. So I want people to find what they want,
Right?
not find somebody and make it into what they want. And then
Mm-hmm.
their second pillar is who are they, and what changes do they need to make? Because I tell them those are the only things you can control, things that have to do with you. So if you want to get healthy, lose weight, get a better job, get a better car, get a better house, or whatever, or clean yourself up. I had a guy last weekend, I was just telling you earlier, one of his things he needed to do, he goes, I need to kind of clean myself up a little bit. Get a haircut, shave, that kind of stuff. That was
Right.
his decision, not
Mm-hmm.
me. He can do whatever he wants. But don't expect to find some lady or some guy that's going to tell you how to dress, and it's going to clean you up, because you're going to resent that. I got news for you. You're going to resent it. And change only happens when we want to change.
Mm-hmm.
Period. It's just the only way it's going to work. It's the only
Yeah.
way it's going to work. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so let me ask you something. One time I was talking with someone, and what they said was that they were saying they didn't want to change, but they had kind of bad behavior. There was things that what they were doing to their partner was not nice. I mean, there were things,
Right.
nice. But then they would justify their poor behavior because by the fact, well, I am who I am, and so therefore they just have to put up with it. They just have to accept me for the way I am.
Okay.
So why would someone want to accept bad behavior in someone? If
Because they're having a hard time loving themselves, and so they start to settle.
Mhm.
They think that, here, the two biggest fears in the world. The two biggest fears in the world are, I'm not enough, and I'm never going to be loved.
Mhm.
Across the planet, no matter where you're at, those are common fears that people go through. Okay, so there you go. That's why they do stuff like that. So when
Yeah.
you feel in your heart that you're not going to be loved, that's the kind of stuff you do.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, in essence, what you're saying is that individual is sabotaging the relationship.
Totally.
Yeah, because of fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
they were pushing the other person away. So
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting, because that's what I think is so different between men and women is that, and I'm sure there are women out there that have done the same thing, but I did not realize, I didn't take it as such. And so it's nice to be able to get a man's perspective on it.
Right. No, but it's true. But that happens all the time.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff happens all the time because of that. it's a learned fear of not being enough and not being loved. But that's very common in all relationships. And we've all felt it. I've felt it, that you're not good enough. You're not at anything, and that starts that whole process of resistance, and resentment, until those resentments become rejections, the 4 R's. And so, it's look, here's the thing. No one ever goes to how to be a great husband class, how to be a great boyfriend, how to be a great lover, all those. We all seem to miss those classes.
Yeah.
And so we try to figure this stuff up on the fly. And it just doesn't work. And we begin to, we make a lot of mistakes. Now, the thing is, Cece, when we were younger, many of us grew up in the same neighborhoods together. So you knew who you were, or you went to college and you met somebody in college, but you knew somebody, you knew them. Today, it's so fast. You don't know who they are. You don't know what their background is. You don't know who their families are. And so, because there is such a thing as love at first sight. It's real. It's chemical. It's a real deal. The problem is that then what? Then what are you going to do after that?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. I think we're having trouble with your Wi-Fi here a little bit because you're slow.
Are you? Oh man, you know what? I'm trying to get to my car because I don't want to lose the charge on my phone. I'm starting to lose the charge.
Okay.
Is it really bad?
Well, you are getting a little blurry. You are getting blurry and everything, but yeah.
How's it now? How's it right now?
It's getting a little better. It's getting a little better.
You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. God dog it. I'm gonna go back out where I was, and it'll get back to where it was normal, and then we'll just go as long as my phone will last. How's that?
Yeah, that's fine. I appreciate you being, ladies and gentlemen, that you're listening. He had an emergency, a family emergency, and he's at the hospital, and so he wasn't able to be in front of his computer. So he's, you're a real trooper, Arnie, for.
No, but I should have thought. I didn't think to bring my extra battery. It was like, because I was just running around crazy this morning.
Sure.
Well, that's okay. But hang on here. I'll be right. I'll be where I can talk to you in a second.
We're learning a lot about relationships, and I guess one thing is that again, it's that F word, that gets in the way a lot. That fear, and it just kind of sabotage. We can sabotage relationships by that, can't we?
No, it is because those are fear. Fear is real, whether it's learned or not.
Right.
Fear is real. So the fear of not being loved is major. It's epidemic across the planet. It is epidemic, and the fear of not being enough. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, whether it's we can break this down any way you want. Whether it's sexual, whether it's enough of a provider, enough of a good enough dad. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Being a good enough dad, being a good enough father, or husband, or providing enough, and so this is real stuff.
Yeah.
But this is why when you date people, you get to learn about them. You get to learn their love language. You get to learn their personality. You get to learn everything about them. And so when stuff hits you, when life hits you, you don't get blown out. And then you're also not trying to change people. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, because trying to change people makes them feel self-conscious. Like, God, I must not be good enough for her. I mean, she loved me when we met, and now all of a sudden she wants me to change the way I dress, or she wants me to get a better job, or she wants to do this, or how about this one? When this happens a lot with guys, they sit down at dinner with somebody, and the young lady is talking, right? She's excited, and he's just listening because she's talking. And then maybe a few months later, she goes, why don't you ever say anything? And he goes, I don't know, because you're doing all the talking. And all of a sudden she wants him to become the talker. Well, guess what? Maybe that's not his personality. And because you are so excited about life and dating this guy, because he's a big, strong, good-looking man, and you're not going to turn him into a talker unless he wants to. If he wants to do that on his own uh, uh, accord, that's fine. But I see it so many times. They'll go, Arnie, every time we go do something, he never wants to do this or that. I go, has he ever? Well, not really. I go, well, why do you expect him to do it now? That's not who he was. That's not who you married. That's not who you started dating. Why did you date him in the first place? Why were you attracted to him? Well, he's good looking and he's doing this, he's doing that. He was working over here. I thought he could get I thought he'd be working, they'll give me all kind of crazy answers. But it comes down to they want to change him, right?
Well, here's the thing: is when you first start dating. I feel personally, I think guys and women, we're like on the show and we're doing whatever it takes, right? We're doing, we're talking, we're doing whatever, we're sharing, we're doing whatever it takes. I mean, the last guy that I dated, he talk, and we closed the place down because you were talking so much.
Sure.
Then at the end of the relationship, I couldn't get him to say anything.
Yeah.
And so why is there that shift in it? I think it's because we have to stay dating long enough for the true person to reveal itself.
We do, or we have to ask better questions.
Mm-hmm.
We have to ask each other better questions, whether it be, I was coaching a guy one time, Cece. He married a lady. He had 2 kids. And he had more after this. And then one day he was going through the garage and through some boxes, and he found and found out that she was a Wiccan, a white witch.
Oh.
And he goes, oh. I go, wouldn't that have been nice to know, like, before you had 3 kids? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it really threw the whole relationship into turmoil. They ended up getting divorced. And
Oh, wow.
oh, yeah, this got crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And but all because during the dating process we don't ask better questions, and then we also have to have what I call my non-negotiables.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have non-negotiables, you're in trouble, because there's got to be certain things, Cece, that all of us will not put up with, whether it be drugs or alcohol, infidelity, you name it. It could be, I don't care. It's yours. Those are your non-negotiables. And so when you're dating, you're looking for these red flags that pop up. And when they do, you got to walk, finish the date, say your piece and move on, because it's going to suck you in. The longer you go,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be sexually or any other way, you're going to get sucked into it. And before you know it, it's going to be too late. You're either going to be married or deeply committed, and you're going to be miserable because you can't change the person. And you're going to start the process of resentment, and then rejection. And then, as you just stated there, that's repression. When the person is kind of like there and not really saying anything, now
Mm-hmm.
you're in a period of repression, and that's a terrible place to be.
Yeah, most certainly is. Most certainly is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell us a little bit about how we can get a hold of you. If anyone out there is listening and they want to be able to get some advice from you, because I know that you are, the man strategist, but as you said, you do have women.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'll give you my phone number here in a second, but you can look to me. Yeah. Well, that's totalrecoveryarizona.com just flashed up there. And we're actually working on that site. Probably in another month it's going to be down, but that's okay. You'll know.
Okay.
But you can look me up on Instagram at Coach Arnie F. Just look me up, Coach Arnie F. on Instagram. You can look me up on Facebook. My full name, there it is, Arnie Fonseca Jr. Look me up on Facebook. That's my personal page, and you can message me all the time. You can look me up on Twitter at Coach Arnie. You can look me up on I have another Facebook page called Coach Arnie, where I post a lot of things there as well. And I'm just going to give you my phone number here.
Okay.
It's 602-390-9144. And the reason I give up my phone number is because, first of all, you'll notice that on my Facebook page and all my social media stuff, I don't do any personal stuff on there. You're not going to see any pictures of food and stuff like that, because this is my business. And the reason I give up my phone number, because I do what's called emotional coaching, CC. Because, see, I look at what I do like the waves at the ocean. You know, the tides go in, the tides come out. See, emotions go like the tide. They go out and then they come in. And so when you're going through stuff in your life, and I have clients that are going through really crazy stuff, you know, they may be doing really good in the morning, and then all of a sudden a phone call or a text, and all of a sudden it'll trigger something, and I'll tell them, look, call me or text me. If I'm available, I'll take it. If I'm not, I'll get back to you as soon as and they know me. They know I'll get back to them. And so, because sometimes maybe 30 seconds of a little, phone, I call it a phone hug. Sometimes it's giving them a phone hug and letting them know that it's okay, and then letting them know that let's meet when we can, and we'll talk about it. But I don't want anybody to feel like they're stranded. Now, I always also tell them, like, hey, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to answer your call because I'll probably be asleep. But as soon as I wake up, if I catch it, I'll. I did it just the other day with a young lady that did that, and as soon as I got up Monday morning, she's a lawyer, and she really had a bad night with her boyfriend, and we talked through it. It took about 10 minutes, and she was good. But I want people to know that that's what I do. It's a little different, just like somebody earlier, because I think you just shared a little while ago that my background is brain and spinal cord rehabilitation. I learned a lot of what I do working with families, because my family also deals with this. But a gentleman I've known for 25 years, he goes, Arnie, he goes, there are just so few people that are willing to do what you do for these families. And, hey, look, I'm like everybody else. I love compliments, but I also pragmatically see, I know that. I know that's what makes me a little different, because I am willing to go a little further. A lot of coaches don't do that. I've had coaches that I've paid for that, I have a scheduled 30-minute call, and that's really the only time I'm going to get a hold of them.
Right.
That's it. And I get that. Hey, look, maybe someday in my life I'll get to that point in my life, but that's not the way I've lived my life since I've been doing this stuff when I was teaching school, almost 40 years ago. And when those
Here's
kids
the
needed
thing.
help, I would help them.
You don't do it to make a living. You do it because it's a passion.
Right.
That's
I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with helping people work through their problems. I'm totally obsessed with it, whether I was helping somebody through an athletic event, whether it was through a relationship event, or a health problem. Because health problems are just the same. I mean,
right.
are you kidding me? Health problems many times are the reasons that relationships don't work. Because somebody doesn't want to help somebody through recovery or through an injury or an addiction. I mean, it's, or God, anything. I mean, think about it, and so they don't want to deal with it. So they just walk.
Right. Yeah, which is a shame. But it's wonderful that we have someone like you out there that we can turn to. And
Well, I appreciate, and since we'll give out compliments. I appreciate CC for reaching out to me. I always look for opportunities. It's funny. I was just talking to a lady as I was walking out here, who is she's a fitness lady. She's one of the ones I was sharing with you earlier before we started. She's a good friend of my wife now. I've introduced her, but we did a little video. The way I met her is we did a really fun video. And if anybody goes on my Instagram page, you'll see it. We did a longer version of it. It's a 20-minute one too. And when my wife finally saw it, she goes, "Oh my God, this thing is amazing." Because her and I sat down and we did this really cool dating relationship video, and she squeezed it down to a 1-minute thing for me. But it was fun, and yeah, I'm always looking for opportunities to reach out to to people because I know how scary it is, CC, especially people my age or our age maybe. I'm not sure how old you are, but I know how old I am. And guys that I run into that are my age, they're scared to death of the dating process. They really are.
Introduce
And
them to me.
what's that? What's that?
Introduce them to me.
Oh, well, I do. I have a guy right now, but he's struggling because he's struggling with his business too. But he'll do this, and then he'll call me. He calls me up all day long, and when he sees this, he's probably watching right now. He knows who I'm talking to right now, and so, but I love him to death because he's reaching out where I have other clients, and I'll tell him, I go, listen, you know what you're paying for? I'm here to help you. You don't have to suffer here. Come on. And I'll tell him, I go, use what I'm doing for you, because I looked at. Listen, see, I was blessed in my life that I had wonderful teachers and coaches in my life, and that's probably why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. And I did not have, and I'm being totally vulnerable here. I had a horrible relationship with my dad. Okay, it was horrible. I never heard "I love you" out of my dad until my daughter was born. Okay, so I didn't grow up with any of that stuff. I really didn't. And so I know that we're approaching 50% fatherless homes right now in this country. 50%. There's a lot of guys out there, a lot of young men out there that don't know what it's like to be a man and to have a guy there that's going to listen to them and love them just the way they are, and be there to give them that advice on how to treat a lady, on how to be in a relationship, and how to deal with adversity, and how to deal with raising children and loving their children. You know, one of the things I always tell dads, I said, listen, you know, love them, do all the things you need to do, but when they're in their teens, in high school and all that stuff, your job is to love them. Your job is to tell them that you're proud of them, and your job is to acknowledge that they're good at something. It may not be what you're good at, but maybe they're better. Maybe you played sports, but they want to do music and art and dance. I have he's my granddaughter's husband. I love him to death, and he's a wonderful dancer. And you know, we had a really deep talk just a few weeks ago, and he shared with me how his dad didn't really ever accepted that fact that he was such a good dancer. And for the first time in my life, that I've known him for a number of years now, first time in my life, I saw that pain in his eyes and his soul. You know, and that's right there. That's one of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing, because we adults, us parents, we have so much power to either help or hurt people. And it really hurts my heart when I see adults that are strategically, and I hate to say that, strategically hurting the people that they have power over. And that's one of the things that bothers me so much about this whole Me Too thing. Because for men, it's not that not to go off on a tangent here, but that whole Harvey Weinstein thing was not about addiction at all. He was not addicted to anything except one thing. You know what it was? Power. Power. And that's what makes me sick about all of that. Don't brush that off as anything to do with addiction or all that. That's nonsense. That was a way for them to save face. It's not an addiction. If you know what an addiction is, come with me and I'll take you down to some of the recovery centers that I speak at. And I'll introduce you to what addiction's all about. But that's not. That's power. And it makes me sick when I see guys that do that to young ladies and women in general, whether I don't care how old they are, because there's no reason for that. And they also do it over their children too. There's no reason to do that. You can love them and you can communicate with, learn how to talk. I know that we all miss that class on how to be a great dad class or how to be a great man class, but guess what? Because of shows like yours, Cece, and there's books out there by wonderful men and women that you can read. There's stuff on YouTube at your fingertips. There's people like me out here that you can go. There's weekend workshops you can go to if you want to, but you don't have to be a nut, you know?
Well, and here's the thing too, is that I think one thing that has brought out is that we need to set our boundaries. And so
Mm-hmm.
when things happen like this, maybe, and it could be the opposite. It could be a woman doing it to a man.
Absolutely, sure.
So totally, but that whatever is happening, we have to set our boundaries and say, no, we're not putting up with this. We're not going to allow this to happen to us. And which is kind of a good thing that they are all forming together and standing strong with regards to it. But
Right.
I would have liked to have seen that happen at the beginning,
Right, and you didn't see that. Well, I have a client right now. She's a singer and a dancer in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Young lady, she's 24 years old. And she called me last week, and she was really distraught because somebody that she does a photo shoot with, and she goes, Arnie, she goes, how do I stop this? Because right in the middle of the shoot, they're being inappropriate, and they want more than just the photo shoot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I said, well, here's how you stop it. It's exactly what you just said, Cece. I go, before you start, you look them straight in the eye and you let them know what that contract says.
Mm-hmm.
And you let them know that anything beyond that, you're going to walk. And you got to walk.
Mm-hmm.
And you walk right then and there. The problem is, and which is why the Harvey Weinsteins of the world got away with this stuff, because they knew how much power he had over them. And if they wanted to be in a movie or something, that he could end it for them or make it for them.
Right.
And to me, that's wrong. So
a lot of them have made a decision to
right.
Step aside and do whatever. But the thing is and the reason why I think this is an important factor to bring up, because we do have these type of relationships even now, when we're dating, when we're out there. And so there comes a time when you have to say, whoa, back it up. This is not
absolutely
happening. Yeah.
And that's why I'm a big fan of dating. I'm also believe me, I'm no angel here, okay? Mm-hmm. But I'm also a big fan of not jumping into a sexual relationship before you know the person. One of the things I learned from a gentleman that I was sharing with you earlier is that what happens is in relationships, before you get to know each other, one person brings their big bag of garbage and throws it on the bed. The other person brings their place to start and have a healthy sexual relationship. But we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. And it causes problems all over the place. And it's not getting better because with technology, and I love technology. I'm working on an app right now that's all about efficiency and speed. Well, what do you think these dating apps are about? Mm-hmm. Mainly speed. I don't know how, I guess it would be your definition of efficiency, right? If you're a guy, efficiency means you know what, right, Cece? Mm-hmm. And the speed of it, I mean, it's unbelievable when I talk to these guys. I go, thank God they didn't have these things when I was younger, because I don't know, that would have been horrible to be literally sitting in a restaurant or a bar and be able to find somebody within a couple minutes. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's almost unthinkable, isn't it? What they're doing right now. And these guys coming.
That isn't building a relationship. That's just hooking up.
Well, I coached a guy 3 weeks ago. He came over and was doing some computer work with me. And I said, let me take you through my 4 pillars. He goes, that'd be great. And so we did it. And he totally acknowledged. He goes, Arnie, he goes, listen. And God bless him. If he's not watching, but if he does, he's not exactly, the 6 foot tall, Marine guy, right? He's just an average looking dude. And he looks me in the eye. He goes, Arnie, listen to me. He goes, it's too easy. It's too easy just to find somebody. I'm going, you're kidding me. He goes, no, it's ridiculous. He goes, but that's not what I want. I want to find somebody that's special. And I don't know how to do that. I said, well, let's talk. And that's when we had our session. I gave him we sat down, we went through my 4 pillars, and he's working on it now. So, because he was tired of that, Cece. He was tired of it because there's no emotion to it. There's no emotion. See?
Well, and you can't, if you don't have emotion, it won't last.
No. And he didn't even want it to last.
It's just like when we started our show talking about, the Amazon guy,
Sure, absolutely,
been married for a long time and then
absolutely.
steps out on his wife, and
Yep.
so what does he expect there? She's going to want to stay with him if they've lost that connection with each other.
It's
They're
been
not.
gone for a number of years. I read
Yeah.
that whole thing. It's been gone for years. Now they just kind of made it official.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's all. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, hey, look, I don't want to beat anybody up, but you know, I certainly don't want to judge people. I certainly want to pick and choose who I'm going to judge. To me, that's even worse. You
Well,
know,
and not meaning to judge, but what I do feel is that if their marriage is over, they both deserve some happiness in their lives, and so
absolutely. I don't see
why,
any problem with that.
yeah.
I think what was wrong, it was almost like they were glorifying the fact that he had a mistress. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, he had a mistress for a few years and she's fine with it, and they're good friends. Like, come on, you know,
Yeah.
just be done with. And granted, he's the richest guy in the world, so I guess they're going to be in the news, okay?
Yeah.
But I personally, I don't want to glorify that stuff. Cece, I'm more of a romantic.
Is their relationship is no different than anyone else's. There's
No,
still pain. You hear all the time about the phrase uncoupling. We're uncoupling. Well, there's still pain. You're
yeah.
still gonna hurt. You're still gonna go through all the steps that we go through in relationship loss. And you're going to go through all those new steps of relationship building with somebody else. So, there's no
Well, when
scorecard,
you and I have talked before on this.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll come back to a point I want to make. All relationships are good if you learn from them,
Mm-hmm.
so that your next relationship is better because you learn. Now, if you repeat the same stuff, shame on you, right?
Right.
But if you learn from it, then it was a good relationship. There's nothing wrong. I mean, I don't want anybody to be abused. I don't want anybody to go through that kind of stuff ever. But if it was a relationship and it just broke off because of you said something or you're not a good fit, that's fine. Learn from it. One of the guys that I was sharing with you that I learned about the whole transaction thing, that all relationships are a transaction, was that he said to me one time, and he got very emotional. He goes, Arnie, he goes, I was talking to my ex, and she said, why did things have to change? We used to get up on Saturday morning and go down to the local coffee shop, and we'd have a couple bagels and some coffee. Things were so simple then. And he started crying. And because he became very successful in politics and things, and I just looked at him, I gave him a big hug, and I said, yeah, but we do that, you know? And did she complain when she had all the money? Probably not. But deep down in her heart, she might have thought, God, where did that Saturday morning, walk down to the coffee shop and have a couple bagels go? See? Because, but we lose touch of that. And actually there was this, I read a survey just recently about how the cutoff for happiness when it comes to money was about $74,000. It didn't matter if you made $500,000, $1 million, but the cutoff for where somebody was genuinely happy was $74,000 because it was just enough money to do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
See, and
Yeah. Well, sometimes I
but we
wonder
lose sight of that.
if it's about building something, because I know that many that I've talked to, when they were on the high, when they were making good money, things were going great. That's when their relationships weren't that great. But
Yeah.
when they were struggling and they were both working together trying to
Yep.
build something, and they had respect for each other, and they talked and planned and worked it out, and they were really a well-oiled unit.
Mm-hmm.
They were, the relationship was blossoming, it was growing. But then as soon as they got the platform where they were successful, money was coming in, everything was going great, then that it became disrespectful, feelings got hurt, there was a lot of turmoil within the relationship.
And that's why I'm a big fan of dating your spouse. Of a big fan of getting away on a quarterly basis or monthly basis for at least a weekend. It's a big fan of, getting away and doing, there's so many things now that are coming around with this, but just getting to re-know your spouse through their love language, through their personality, and because unless we continue to reignite those memories of when we were dating, we fall into these traps of, you know, uh, in the moment,
Yeah.
okay, which is fine, but we lose track of why did I fall in love with this person in the first place? See, and if we don't talk about that, then we don't have a reason to think, well, why am I here? Or you're not looking for that, the mistress or the affair or the thing, because you when you learn how to feed your partner's love language and fill their love tanks, it changes everything. And I'll make a little offer here to your audience. If anybody gets a hold of me, CC, I will give them a free copy of the love languages by Dr. Chapman. The
Mhm.
5 love languages. I will give them a free audio copy of that book if they get a hold of me. Okay?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, because that's an excellent book.
It's
That's
a
an excellent.
powerful book, and it
Yeah.
changes the way you look at things. It changes your relationship. It makes a difference because it's real. I mean,
Right.
but we're not doing this stuff anymore. I mean, I know when I learned that stuff, I'm like going like this. Ugh, why didn't I know this 20 years ago?
Hmm.
Right? It would have
Hmm.
made things a lot easier. So our job as coaches, CCU, and my job as a coach, our job is to compress people's journeys. We still want them to take the journey. We want them to go through the dating and all the stuff, but we've
Right.
got to compress it for them. Why? I don't want anybody to suffer. I don't want anybody to go through 10 years of a bad marriage.
Hmm.
What the heck? If I can teach somebody how to avoid 10 years of a bad marriage, I've done a good job. I'm that
Absolutely.
and that's the kind of stuff I want to be able to do for people, and that's the stuff that I do if people are willing to be coached and to learn. And one of those ways is to study other people, like a Dr. Chapman. There's great books, or John Eldredge, Wild at Heart, and watching Tony Robbins videos, and all these other wonderful people that are out there at your fingertips. So when people come to me and say, well, I don't know what to do, well, I get it, but you haven't tried either.
Yeah.
You haven't tried.
And
See?
that's what you have to do. Well, tell us again how we can get a hold of you. I'm going to put up your phone number
Okay,
across the screen.
got it.
So there it
There it
is.
is,
Yeah.
602-390-91. You can call me, text me anytime you want.
Hmm.
I'll get back to you, I promise. And you can look me up on Facebook at Coach Arnie, or you can look me up as Arnie Fonseca Jr. right there on the cross stream. You can look me up, and there I am. I think I'm coaching some kids in a huddle there. And then you can go to Instagram at Coach Arnie F. There's a little underscore there, but you'll figure it out. I'll come up.
Yeah.
And then on Twitter at Real Coach Arnie on Twitter, Real Coach Arnie on Twitter. And I'm not as much there anymore. I'm learning. I'm learning the social media, CC. I'm learning.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a
It's a
lot.
lot.
It
It's a
is a
lot.
lot. And it's
But
forever changing, just like
it is. It is. But bottom line is, guys, everybody that's listening right now, my goal in life is to bring value. I want people to be able to live a fulfilling, adventurous life, and the only way you're going to do that is to learn to love yourself, so that you can love other people. Because and one of the things I teach is to give what you want, and just like with, if you want happiness, the fastest way to be happy, Cece, is just to be kind to people.
Mhm.
You can go out today, you can go to a retirement home, you can go to what do they call these, memory centers, and you can just go in there and just sit with people and talk to them and hold their hands, and you'll walk out of there feeling so good, and
Yeah.
you'll feel alive. And
Yeah.
so
It's
whatever problems you're
amazing.
dealing with in
So
life,
whatever you want, if you give, you'll
you'll
get
get it
that.
back. If you
Yeah.
give love, you're going
Mhm.
to get it back. if you give whatever you want to give, whatever you want, you got to give it. You got to give it. And for those of you that are out there chasing happiness, do me a favor. Stop chasing it. Stand your ground and just start being kind to people. Happiness will find you. I
Absolutely.
promise. Happiness will find you. And just like with that relationship that you're after, if you know what you want, I think we talked about it before. You'll activate what's called a reticulating activation system in your brain, CC.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like sonar. So if you really know what you want and you focus on it, you want that whatever she looks like or he looks like, whatever she smells like or he smells like or how he dresses and this and that. If you really know what they are or who they are and you can visualize them, you'll start to attract that person. I promise you, you have sonar in your. Our bodies are amazing. Our souls are so amazing. If we just listen and if we just are open to letting the universe fill that. But if we're holding on to things in our past and we're holding on to old relationships and we're holding on to this and that, oops, there you go. Then we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle.
Yeah.
And that was my battery giving me a warning that.
Oh, we better go then.
So
well,
we're
we
gonna.
the show anyhow. Well, I want to thank you, Arnie, for being with us. It's Arnie Fonseca. Am I pronouncing it right?
You got it.
Okay. And it's great having you. You can connect with him right on Facebook, and then he's got sites and a whole lot of stuff going on. So I wanted to send prayers to you and your family. You know,
Thank you. Appreciate that. And Cece, thank you so much. And then we're going to do this again next week. I think on another show.
We're going to be on the boy, and well, this is the Boy and Girl thing, the show that we're on today.
Got
and
it.
Solo with Cece next week, so we'll talk more about.
I'll be in front of my computer then, Cece. I'll be ready.
Great.
But thank you so.
If you can't be, let me know, and we'll reschedule.
No, I'm good.
Yeah,
but thank you so much, and you're a blessing, and I love sharing this kind of stuff. I'm very, like I said, I'm obsessed with it, and I just want people to be happy.
Yeah, it's a great passion to have. It truly is. Well, thank you very much. And this is WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, the Boy and Girl thing. And we had fun tonight. So thank you so much, Arnie.
Thank you, Cece. Be blessed.
All right, bye. We'll see you guys
Bye-bye.
same time. Bye.